On this episode of Medium at Heart, a question from a listener about how your loved ones who've crossed over can find you. And we welcome a guest who'll share her story about connecting with her dad through Annette. Welcome to Medium at Heart. I'm Angela Manfredi,
And I'm Annette Manfredi,
and you're the medium.
and you're not, but I think you could be.
But that's a conversation for another time because, as we've discussed, I'm okay with you having the gift and sending everyone over to your house. We're really excited about today's episode. We have a special guest that's going to be joining us in a couple of minutes. And this is a very beautiful, wonderful person who you connected with, I mean, over a decade
Oh,
ago.
yes.
And you helped her connect to a loved one. And it's a really meaningful and powerful story. So we're excited to share that with you firsthand. Her name is Angela, also, and she'll be joining us shortly. But first, a little backstory about my sister, the medium, and how you knew you had this gift to speak to people on the other side.
You know, I have a great childhood memory when this was actually Angela first communion, and mom took me to the hairdresser in Irvington Center to get the headpiece or the veil, the little thing put on. And I remember all these women would gather around my chair and ask mom questions. And some of the questions that they would ask, I would actually know the answer to, but I would never say anything. Not in detail because I was young, but I knew at that moment, I was like, this is amazing. I have what mom has. But again, she never practiced it, but I remember also going to the bank, and when she would have to talk to the teller or somebody else, there was always a crowd. There was always people who knew mom was there and would ask her things quickly, and she would answer them.
And this was in our little town of Irvington, New Jersey. And I remember that hairdresser as
Yes.
well. And I remember just that quaint little shop and that little town center. And I also remember, very importantly, when mom would take us for cannolis,
Yes.
her favorite dessert, our favorite dessert. And so today, to celebrate my mom and Annette's gift that she got from my mom,
Mhm.
we brought cannolis to the set, which will probably not go to waste
Yes.
because it's our favorite dessert as well as my mom's. But we do like to celebrate our loved ones who've crossed over. And one way that we do that is with food. And, when on mom's birthday, we always eat her favorite meal, which is spaghetti and
Absolutely.
meatballs.
Always.
And dad had his favorite foods that we like to celebrate as well. So these are just some of the ways we stay connected to our loved
Mhm.
ones. And of course, you are the ultimate connector
Why, thank you very
of
much.
people to their loved ones. And this is when we want to introduce you to our guest today, the lovely, beautiful, and just Annette. Tell us a little bit more about Angela, we're gonna be
Okay.
seeing momentarily.
I met Angela, it had to have been 2008, 2009, and she found out I was a medium. And she was, one of the moms of at school, and then she just said, when can I talk to you? When can I come talk to you? So she set up an appointment and she came to the house during the day and she sat across from me. And at that time, her father came through very strongly, and she got some really good messages. And then I read for her, throughout the years. And sometimes she's got great stories. I hope she can tell of when, how you sit in the car line to pick up your son or daughter at school. Sometimes her dad would find me and I'd have to get out of the car, run to her car and say, listen, really quick. I'd give her the message and then I'd get back in the car and go about my day. Because so when I read for someone, I sort of say to the loved ones on the other side, if it's something you really need them to know, just pop in. It's fine. I'll let them know quickly, whether can see them or text them. Because again, I think that I'm blessed that I can do that. And I really never want to say no because I know what peace it brings people.
Oh, that
Yeah,
is very
I'm
important.
so excited to have her on.
Okay, good. So let's bring on Angela. Hi,
Hi.
Angela.
Hi,
Hi. Hi,
Angela.
Joy. Hi, Annette. Hi, Angela. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Medium at Heart. We are delighted to welcome you today. So, tell us the first time that you connected with Annette and what that experience was like for you.
Well, it was very exciting for me. I was excited, but in almost like a giddy good kind of way. I have heard about her, all positive things from, friends or different moms. Like I said, I know her through, the kids in school. And as she had said, when my dad passed, my first thing, I ran into her. I'm like, is it too soon? Is it too soon? She goes, no, whenever you're ready. Right after that, I went and I met with her, and I wanted to, even though I had faith and I knew her gift was real. Yeah, there's just a little party that's like, confirm it for me. Like, what can you tell me that I'll know specific, that I'll really know it's my dad coming through? And just in a matter of minutes, she's like, okay. She's like, your dad. He's very vain. He says he looks really handsome there. He looks, now, if anyone knows my dad, which, very few people at this point would know my father from like my childhood or growing up, where he was very about his appearance, how he looks. So the first thing he says is like, my hair looks great here. I feel really good. He was very about himself. And he mentioned his hair. And again, this is all through Annette telling me this. And he's like, my hair is very full. So just a little quick side note on that. My dad, he was very vain. Like I said, he was starting to bald. Sorry, Dad. He was balding. I have to share this wonderful story. And it bothered him. It really bothered him, to the point that back, way, way back, when the procedure came to actually like put implants and things like that, he did it, and it didn't work out. It was not, they botched it up. It was bad. So he was even more conscious of this. So the first thing that he's telling me through next, he's like, my hair looks great here. Like, my hair looks great. So that to me was like, okay, this is good. This is good. And certain things, I was like, can you tell me a little bit more? And she was like, he's showing me a square burger, a square hamburger, a square cheeseburger. And this was like a done deal for me, because when I was growing up, my dad was a warehouse worker, or foreman, if you will, for White Castle, the square hamburgers.
Oh.
And that job was done and over by the time I was in my 20s. So unless you knew me from very young, very early in the day, there's no way she could know that. So that was very profound. That was like, okay, now let's talk,
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yes, because it was like,
I understand.
now I'm in. Now I'm
Yeah.
in. And it was beautiful messages, brought back to the day when I got to the hospital. He was unconscious. He was already in the ER. He's sedated. And when I got there, she mentioned, I go, can you replay this, or tell me, what was I wearing, this or that? And right away, you were wearing blue. And I did. I had all blue on, navy blue. I was wearing scrubs at the time. I had all blue on. And she said, Annette says, he's showing me, like this. And when I got there, even though he was in and out, a tear came out of his eye.
Oh, I just
So it
got
kind of like he
chills.
blinked to let me know, I see you. I know you're here. One single tear. Um, and then that was that. And then, the next day they bring him into the ICU. We know he's not going to make it. I have enough time to just get the family, his sisters, his brother, whoever wanted to be there. And during that time, and I don't want to sound confusing, but this is all what's coming out in the reading. I would sing to him, I would check his feet, all these little things that, unless you were in that hospital room, no one would know this. And that would, my dad would say, through that, thank you for checking on me. I heard you singing. You were kept lifting the blankets, like Annette would, I guess he would maybe make movements, I don't know, but you were constantly checking me. She's like, were you checking his feet? I go, yeah, I was checking his circulation. So little things like that were just, you know no one would know that. No one would know that. So it was always like, a sense of comfort. He knew I was there. And he passed peacefully. And then after that, I couldn't get enough of Annette. I'm like, when can I get to
I
see
love
you
it.
again?
Yeah, Angela, I remember being in line. I was just telling my sister about that earlier. That I think you have a
Yeah.
couple story or a story about that,
Yeah.
right? At 2
So
stories, I think,
I
right?
have two,
Okay.
and they're really actually very, and it's
Yeah.
great for this time of the year as well. So my dad passed in September, end of September, and it was this time of the year. So all the Halloween decorations, all the things are up now. I don't recall if it was my first meeting with her, because I met with her really quick after he passed, but then I know I came not long after again. Um, and I have all these decorations up in the house, and I have this really big pumpkin that I used to put in the hallway, and it was a light. And my kids were very small at the time. And it was maybe 2, 3 in the morning. And I said, oh, I have to remember to shut this light. Cause if the kids see this light, it was the weekend. I'm like, if they see this light, they're going to think it's time to get up. And, we don't want that on a Saturday. So literally
No.
I use the bathroom. I'm coming back and all of a sudden right in front of the pumpkin light, it shuts off. And I go, okay, thanks. And I go about my business. I've always felt like, comfortable with that type of activity. It didn't freak me out or anything. And then, sure enough, the next day, I guess it was Saturday, Sunday, next time I see Annette and I'm in the car line and here she comes. Well, she would always park behind me and, and I'd wave and I would always be like, is she going to stop? Is she going to stop? And then someday she'd go and then someday she'd come back. And then this day she goes, knock on my window. And I'm like, hi, hi. She's like, what's with the pumpkin? Your dad says something about a pumpkin. I'm like, yes, I know. I know it was him. He shut it off for me. She's like, yep, that was him. I was like, okay. A couple of days later, or maybe a weekend later, now I'm taking the Halloween decorations down. You know those clingy window clings that you
Yeah,
put
yeah,
in the
yeah.
decorations? They're like gel. So my kids, when they were little, would stick them in their windows, and their bedrooms are really get a lot of sun. Well, when it was after Halloween, I'm taking them down, and they're like baked on from the heat. They're really stuck. My husband has the kids out for the day, and I said I got to clean their rooms, and it's not coming off. So I take this like scrubber, and it's like like today's scrub daddy, I say, because it was like a Brillo type thing, and I'm in the windows, and I'm going like this, and I'm scrubbing, and I'm kind of like going, oh my god, these kids, and I'm like, under my breath, and I'm, you know, getting frustrated. Anyway, I'm cleaning the windows. The next time I see Annette, you're so funny. I'm like, what's so funny? Your dad thinks you're hysterical. Why? What were you doing? What were you doing like this? You were so angry and you were going like this. And I go, oh, Annette, I go, these kids, they stuck these things in the window. I go, he was there? She's like, he saw
Yeah,
it. I was like,
yeah.
oh, okay. So
Fun,
yeah,
right?
So
always
nice.
great, fun stories. Um, and a lot of times in the car line, because she had young kids, my kids were young too. And it was just like whenever we would pass, like I guess like she said, when he could take that opportunity to say,
Mhm.
hey, hey, tell her something.
He had a strong
Um,
energy. Yeah.
Yes, he was like that here. He was
Yes.
very, he was like that here. And in another real vivid, and these aren't even like from when I had readings with Annette, I would write things down. And these are things I have not even had to like when she asked me to be a guest, I didn't even have to like pull notes or anything like that. These are fresh still in my mind. Um, so maybe this was a little bit later, a few months later, sitting in the car line. She goes past, she comes back, knocks on my window. You have to go home and check your mailbox. You have to check your mailbox. He's saying something's there. I was like, okay. Sure enough, that day I come back in the mailbox is something from FedEx, keys to his condo, with instructions on what to do.
Mm.
Yeah, and I text her. I go, oh, I go on the money. I go, yeah. I go, here it is, and I think I showed her or whatever, and I called her. Yeah, and that was it. So every experience. So yeah, I mean, I have great stories. I had a lot of readings, and just like I said, the specifics of it, the specifics of it that make you say, you know what, there's no way
Yeah.
that anyone can know this. Like this is so specific. That she's truly gifted, and I'm happy that I could be here to share these stories because they're fun and they make you feel good, and it's also very interesting. Like people are like, I've told people these stories, and they're like, "You're crazy. That didn't happen." I'm like, "No, that really happened." And now they believe, or they'll be like, yeah, I've had similar things happen to me.
Yeah, I think some of them
you know
became clients too, because you
yeah, and of
referred people.
course
Yeah.
I've referred a coworker, another friend of mine. Yeah, so
I remember
yeah.
Angela too, she loved the signs, like, she always wanted signs, and o obviously her dad has strong energy, so he always came through, but Angela would always say, "Angela, tell me what you would always say about the signs. You wanted signs, but you never." She would
No, I
say.
don't want to see you. I
Yeah.
don't want to they could show themselves to
Yeah.
you. I don't listen. In the daytime, if you want to walk across something in the park, fine. But my luck, just like
Yes.
the pumpkin at 3 in the morning, I'll be like going to get water and he'll appear in front of me and I'll faint on the ground. And so I'm like,
Fun, right?
listen, I'm all for the signs, the smells, the noises. You want to present yourself in a way in the daytime, but please don't show me at night. I'm not for that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Your mom's with you also, I just have to say that if I hope you don't mind.
Oh, that's nice to know.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah,
Yes.
and, she's talking about something here. You were talking about something
Yes.
here on her.
Yes. Yes. So my mom passed this past April. And yes, she was very swollen from here down.
Mm. But
She
something it
actually
started here. It started here.
Yes, exactly. She actually had so she was admitted into the hospital after the new year of this year. They thought she had diverticulitis, in and out, in and out. And then what it actually turned out to be is she had a tear in her intestines actually.
Ooh.
It wasn't diverticulitis, it was actually a tear. And then it ruptured, and then she got sepsis.
Mm.
Intestines leaks, toxic into your system. And she had sepsis, and she went to the hospital, was in ICU. And she was very, very, very swollen. I mean, everywhere. And she had this incision because they had to emergency surgery. And it kept leaking, and it
Mm.
Oh
kept
my
leaking,
gosh,
like
poor
they couldn't
thing.
control it. They
Wow.
couldn't control it. Yeah, so
Well, she's
that's
definitely with you. She's going to send you a lot of signs now that we spoke. Well, everyone is.
good.
So I'll
I'm
ask them
glad.
not to show themselves. But
I don't want to see them.
no, you will get a lot of
I'm okay
signs.
with this. I just don't want to
Yeah.
say, but yes, I'm open to the signs,
Yeah, for sure.
and I think I'm doing good, like waiting for them. But sometimes you say you think you are,
Mm-hmm.
you think that you're quiet in your mind, you think you're aware, but maybe I'm missing. I don't know, but I'm gonna pay more attention.
Don't even worry about it. That's just it. You don't have to pay attention. I promise you now you'll start to see them. You know how it works now that they came through.
Hmm.
Just go, just
Hmm.
be, and you'll get a lot of them. A lot of smells too. I feel like your mom
Okay.
is gonna send. But yeah, they're definitely gonna come. I can't wait. Text me. You have to text me and tell me about
Oh,
them.
I will definitely text you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that's beautiful, Angela. And it sounds like you receive, like you had mentioned comfort from that. And before you met Annette, had you ever thought about anything like this?
So it's funny. I've always been into spirituality and things like that. Through a group, me and some of my close friends, we would go to mediums from time to time, but very general. I mean, a man is here, a woman is here. Well, that's a 50-50, right? So, I was always open to it, but no, nothing like I've experienced with Annette. I got to be totally
Wow.
Thank you so
honest.
much.
That's
That the
so
fact that when I saw you were doing the podcast, I
Yes.
told some of the people, I'm like, oh my God, I know Annette has her podcast with her sister. We got to start following. We want to
Yeah, yeah,
support
yeah, yeah.
her.
oh,
Please.
so
Thank
And they're
you.
like,
nice.
really? Is she reading again? And I says, I'll
Yes.
find out. I'll find
Yes,
out.
for
So we got to
sure.
talk about that at some point. How because
Absolutely.
people are waiting.
Okay, good. Love
That's
it.
so lovely. Angela, did you share this with your kids and your husband? Did you share this information that Annette conveyed to you? And what do they think
Yeah.
of it?
Yes.
Do they
We're
get
all believers here.
Yeah,
We're all believers here. Yeah.
that's wonderful.
They're into it. And it was funny, in speaking to Annette, even just yesterday, just to confirm for today, they were like, oh, great. You know, did she tell you anything? Is she
Yeah,
going to tell you anything? I'm like, we'll wait and see. I'm sure she will, but yeah, they're all for it, but you were very open about it. So I guess that makes it easier too.
sure.
Um, because, I guess as opposed to having people near you that are closed off or don't believe,
Mhm.
but no, we're all for it. And actually my younger son is like, I got some questions too. And I'm like, well, we'll save those for another time.
Love it. Absolutely, absolutely.
So, yes.
Oh, Angela, thank you so much.
Thank you,
You're
yeah, so
welcome
much for
anytime.
sharing your story. And your
I'm
dad,
happy
can
to
I
do
just
it.
say your dad and your mom, and but we're spend a little more time talking about your dad. He sounds like an incredible person.
Yeah.
Like just
He
this
was
really
great
larger
energy.
than life, almost, like charismatic and
Yes.
fun and energetic. And so it makes sense
Oh,
that
yeah, when he wanted to get a message through, I have a feeling he probably like that in real life too. Like he came on strong, and I knew if I didn't get out of the car and give you that message, he was going to come home with me, and I did not want that. you know.
So yeah, we're
I
glad he
guess.
found her. That one of the questions that we had
Yeah.
about what we're doing, Angela, is how do people find Annette to get the message? So how do your loved ones on the other side get the message to you? How do they find you? How do they know how to find you?
Yeah.
But they obviously know how to do that. And when Annette's in close proximity to you, as she
Yes, I'm
was,
picking up on that. So, because he's obviously next to her.
right?
So,
Wow, very special. Do you have any more questions for Annette while you're here?
Well, listen, I can take up your whole podcasting question.
We'll
It's
talk.
fine.
We'll set up a time, I
Um,
promise.
yes, because there are some things that I got to follow up on
Yeah,
from
sure.
previous conversations, and,
Sure.
and we will. But yeah, no, I'm good. I feel good because you know what it is? It feels like I know they're there. So I don't feel like I have to get everything in, right? So in saying I could take up the whole podcast, of course, it's an opportunity with like a telephone, right? But knowing that she has this gift and I know how to contact her, it's like, okay, well, I don't have nothing right now. I'll talk to her soon, meaning I'll talk to my dad soon or my mom soon. So it's comforting knowing that they're there. And if I need to
Yeah.
ask a question about my children or need guidance with something that, it's closer than we think.
Always.
Oh, that's so
Always,
nice.
my friend.
Well, thank you, Angela, so much for
Yeah.
joining us today. We can't
Thank
thank
you.
you
I
enough.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's really
Yes,
very
anytime,
special.
anytime. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Okay,
Talk
so
soon.
we're gonna have to check back in with you,
Okay, definitely.
definitely, and have fun with that pumpkin.
Yeah, I have it. The pumpkin is here. The pumpkin is
Lighting
here.
up, lighting up.
Yes.
Yes, have
Yep.
Oh,
fun.
just wait.
All right. Oh,
More to
okay.
come.
I'll go
Apparently, more
for
to
it.
come. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Bye, Angela.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
Thank you,
you.
Angela.
guys.
Take
Have
care.
a
Thank
great
you.
day.
Bye.
Angela joining us from New Jersey,
So
our
nice.
very own home state from New Jersey. So, Annette, wow, what a powerful
So,
connection.
yeah, it's interesting how people find me like they just do. I always say like the other side, they just have magical powers. But like I had said, like her father was next to her, and I was able to pick up on that and sense that. But one time I have a story about a friend of mine or a client who I had read for, and her father was in a coma. And we were all praying, you know. And one night it was very late, and I got this strong feeling that I had to just reach out to her and send her a lot of love. And so I text her late and I said, I'm so sorry I'm texting you so late, but I'm sending you love and I'm sending you strength and prayer and I'm here for you. And she had texted me back and she said, my dad passed about an hour ago, but before that, I whispered in his ear, find my friend Annette.
Very powerful.
And I just started to cry because I thought, how lucky am I that this man found me and had me reach out to her. And then, of course, a little while later, we did a reading. But that was when I felt, wow, I'm blessed.
So, if you are wondering about how your loved one will find you to get you that message, I think the answer is don't worry about it.
Yeah, perfect. Don't worry about it. They'll find me.
It will happen.
Yeah, if if you're there for a reading or need comfort, they're going to come in because they know, I welcome that.
Okay. Well, that was an incredible experience today, and it was wonderful to have Angela with us as our guest. And we welcome you into the Medium at Heart community. And we would love for you to subscribe to our podcast on Spotify. We're also on Apple and on YouTube. So that would mean so much to us if you become part of our community, and then you'll know when each podcast is going to be released. And you can even ask us questions through our different social media platforms or send us an email, mediumatheart@gmail.com. We have been getting some really wonderful questions and we're going to be addressing those.
Yeah, sure. Next,
Because this is something people are really curious about. And how it works. And so we've been getting some questions. So we're really excited about that. And so we will see you next time. And again, be sure to subscribe. And thank you for joining us here at Medium at Heart. And I'm Angela.
And I'm Annette. See you soon.